Nearly everyone who buys and plays video games has a few kicking around they haven't quite gotten to yet. Nobody means for this to happen, but it is inevitable. You pick up a game on sale here, spend a few hundred hours playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy of the Duelist instead of playing anything else there, and then all of a sudden you have it. A backlog. If you're anything like me, a backlog is more than just a collection of unplayed games. It's a constant reminder of your shame and failure to have fun in an efficient manner. If you don't feel that way, congrats! You're either very well adjusted or lying to yourself. As for the rest of you, stick around for my guide on how to start attacking your backlog. The first thing you can do, like and subscribe. Now that you've put your game playing life into my hands and are ready to do whatever it takes to turn that backlog into a front log, the first thing you'll have to do is stop buying games. Stop and ask yourself, do you really need to pick up Pantsu Hunter Back to the 90s right now? Or can it wait? Put New Super Lucky's Tale on your wish list and let it sit for a while. I know they might be wildly compelling or potentially on sale, respectively, but you don't need that game right now. Unless for some reason it's the most mind-blowing title to come out in the last several years and you have to play it immediately, that game can wait. I know you want to play it, but you also wanted to play the other several dozen or 100 games that you bought, and they aren't any less deserving of your time. I'm not saying that you should never buy games at all while you're working on the backlog, but you've already demonstrated that a lot of games you buy go unplayed, and you should probably slow down. The logic behind this is quite simple. By adding less to the pile of games you have to play, it's much easier to shrink that pile. Not only that, but it will save you from regretting it when you buy Kingdom Hearts 3 at full price, despite not even having finished the second game yet, not playing it for years, and then having it become playable using your PS Plus subscription, making having purchased it all those years ago a complete and utter waste of money. Theoretically, that is. Now that you've finally gotten your act together and successfully stopped buying games, it's time to take the bull by the horns and really get into working on your backlog. No, I don't mean playing your games. I'm talking about organization and documentation. One of the best ways to get your backlog to seem less nebulous and more manageable is to quantify it. Come up with a list of all the games you own and haven't played yet, and really see how many games that is. Maybe it's more or less than you thought, which could be exciting or upsetting, depending on how you decide to look at it. Once you've put it together, you can start to formulate a plan. Don't assume you'll manage to play all of your backlog games in the next 3 weeks. Naturally, your goal will have to differ based on your backlog size and lifestyle, but come up with something attainable and stick to it. Maybe you want to cut a game out of the backlog per month, or every other week, or whatever it is you think you can manage. Then you can watch as that list shrinks over time and feel the satisfaction of finally playing all those games you've wanted to for so long. Did you think we'd get to start playing games yet? Not a chance. The next thing you can do to help reduce and manage your backlog is to make some cuts or categorize things. Not every game in your backlog is created equal, and they shouldn't be treated that way. Some random game you got in a humble bundle back in 2015 should not occupy space in your backlog the same way Disco Elysium does, and you need to come up with a way to reflect that. I think your backlog should only represent games that you actually want to play, and that means maybe cutting Sonic Adventure 2 loose from your Steam library because it's been sitting there for 9 years and you've come to peace with the idea that you'll never play it. It's like cleaning out your closet. You need to take a real hard look at what you've got sitting there and decide if it actually sparks joy. Just because you spent $3.50 on it in your first ever Steam Summer Sale does not mean that you need to keep it around on the off chance you'll play it, and it shouldn't take up space in your backlog if you really don't need it there. Now, I understand not everyone is as cold-blooded as me and doesn't have it in them to just yeet Sonic out of their lives, but there is the alternative of tiering your backlog into high and low priority games. Focus mostly on completing your high priority games so you can get the satisfaction of lowering the size of your overall backlog without the guilt of committing to not playing something. Okay, now's the part where we finally get to play the games. The important part of this is that we need to actually finish them. This is something a lot of people struggle with, especially those of us who amass giant piles of things that we want to do. We need to actually finish the games in your backlog or play them to a point where you feel it's completed in your mind and can be removed, or else they'll also be floating around waiting to be finished and you haven't done anything. Now, I'm not saying you need to devote 100% of your time to playing through the games on your backlog, or that every game you start you need to play right through to the end without touching another title, but it should go without saying that you can't get through your backlog without finishing the games that are in it. Now that I've taught you how to attack your backlog and finish games like a champ, I'd like to add that playing games should be fun. If this all sounds like a huge chore to you, or you somehow aren't bothered by your backlog, don't do it. But if it stresses you out a little bit, or you just want to find a way to jumpstart playing through all of those experiences that you haven't gotten a chance to have yet, hopefully you found something in here that helped. As for me, I started going after my backlog in 2017, and I've played over 300 different games since then, and I still have about 80 to 90 to go. I write down every game I play in a notebook with the goal of averaging a game played per week. And I currently have my backlog list sorted by console and stored in notes on my phone so I can have a quick look anytime. A couple personal notes I'd like to add to this are, don't play all your short games first, no matter how much you want to lower the number. It will turn the later stages of getting through your backlog into kind of a slog. 2. Don't be afraid to quit a game and take it off the list if you aren't enjoying it. The whole point of this is to play all the fun games you haven't had a chance to get to yet. Don't waste your time in mediocrity if you don't want to. And finally, don't get discouraged. Sometimes you'll run through 6 games in a month and cross them all off your list and feel great. Other times you'll be weak, buy 4 games on sale, and start playing Skyrim for the 6th time and make your backlog bigger again. It's a long process, and ultimately, you need to do whatever makes you the happiest. As always, I appreciate every one of you who made it to the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed watching as much as I enjoyed making it, and if you don't know what to do with all that money you're saving by not buying games, you can always consider supporting the channel and putting some of it towards my Patreon. Either way, tell me a game you're looking forward to playing in your backlog down in the comments, make sure you're subscribed, and I hope I'll see you next time.